Hello everyone and welcome to a very special episode. This is a 1964 Dodge Polara. We've been tasked by Dennis from Twisted Mopar Garage to turn it into the Wedge Sled. Let's look at the details on this thing. Over the next 8 minutes you're going to see it go from this, kind of dumpy old coupe into one of the baddest little street rods you're ever going to see. You'll notice that I hammer right along on it, and the reason for this expediency is that, well, this is the first one we've ever built on a real deadline. We're trying to get this one out by Christmas so that Dennis can give it to his friend. The worst and slowest part of this whole process was actually getting it apart. You'll see that everything else moves along pretty quickly. Well, everything except for this hinge bracket anyway. Come out of there, you little bugger. Alright, time for an alternative plan. There we go. Now get the hood off, the motor out, the bumpers out. Get this thing into the goo. Oh, I definitely don't want to put the glass through the goo. Let's get that out too. Now this model didn't come with door glass, but there is a detail on the passenger side window that I want to put on there. I'm going to have to add a passenger side window later on. Oh, that's the most effective I think I've ever seen the goo. Wow, that worked great. We'll get all that old paint off of it and get it right back into primer as soon as I'm done polishing it. There's only one major detail on this that's really going to bother us, and you'll see it right here. There are two taillights on either side, right? Well, there's supposed to be three. I'm not exactly sure how to conquer that issue, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. The biggest chunk of detail on this thing I think are either going to be the decals, which are relatively easy to replicate, or the hood scoop, which is, sad to say, not easy to replicate. But that process is made easier by that nifty new 3D printer that we've got. Either way, we keep plugging along. You'll see right here that I mark out a basic outline of where the hood scoop's going to go. I'll use that as a basic measurement for the hood scoop, and while the paint's drying, I'll get into Tinkercad and build it. Would you look at that? I have just about the perfect paint for it. I also have to get measurements off of this motor. I don't know that I'm going to have the hood open, but just in case. Remember what I said about the decals being relatively easy to replicate? Let's get those bad boys put on. Now once these are all applied, I'll set them aside and let them dry. Once they're dry, I'll come back through and cut off the excess, such as the wheel wells. Positioning is key here, folks. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's cut out the other side and start getting this thing put back together. Now, I wasn't able to obtain very detailed pictures of the car, but from what I can gather, there is no passenger seat. It's gotta go. I won't be able to pull the back seat out of it because, well, that's part of the structure of the interior. You'll see that I tinker with this quite a bit, trying to figure out the fitment. Once I've got everything generally where I want it, I'm going to paint it, put it back in the car. Now, you'll remember that I said that I wanted to put Carol's name on the passenger side window. I'm going to put the original glass in and find a way to fit a new piece of glass for the door. I've also got to be sure that the interior will fit once the new glass is in. Well, it's not beautiful inside, but I don't really care what it looks like inside. Outside, it looks great. I'm going to get everything put back together, but let's get on to some glamour shots.